I like to consider myself a man's man, and when I hear about people doing affirmations during the day and stuff, I used to think that was silly, goofy stuff. But I've learned that there's actually some power in doing that when you're waking up and spending time talking about, even just with yourself, talking about who you want to be and who you're going to be. Like you said, I mean, it really helps shift your mindset, and you can start designing how you're going to see the day,
Hmm.
which I think is great.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point too of like designing who you are. I think people they live their life of like, oh, this is just who I am, and they're the same forever. I'm not the same person that I was last year or the year before. I feel like I'm constantly changing. I feel like I'm constantly becoming or striving to be like to my ideal person of for me. And that's another thing with you can design everything. And for me, that's one of the things I also did before I made my move and put my foot down and was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And that's designing who I am and what my life I wanted my life to look like. And I feel like, that might be weird. That might be a weird thing or like an uncomfortable thing to do in the beginning because you're just there with your mind looking at a piece of paper writing down who you want to be, and maybe those things aren't you yet, but they could be. And at least now you have a roadmap or like a blueprint of who you want to be and what you're striving to be. And it's kind of like the gratitude journal. Like you're keeping that at the top of your mind. Your unconscious mind is now open and like looking for those things and helping you learn to be that person or helping you learn to have that type of lifestyle, whatever it may be. So like designing, I feel like is a really maybe underrated thing where people just like living their life. What could happen if you were to design your life? Really think about what you wanted,
yeah,
everything.
I think there's a statistic out there that it's like 3% of people actually write down their goals. And in regards to financial success, it's like 3% of the population create the most wealth, right? And not focusing on financial stuff for this conversation, but even for personal development,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same principles. If you just write down the goals that you have of who you want to become, like you said, the person that you ultimately want to become,
Mm-hmm.
um, the chance of you accomplishing that because you are consciously focusing on that exponentially increases.